Craziest Reddit. Am I the A***hole? AITA stories that shocked everyone. Imagine this. You think you're doing the right thing, and then the entire internet tells you you're the worst person in the world. That's what happens on Reddit's Am I the A***hole? Stories. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the wildest, most jaw-dropping AITA posts. And trust me, you won't believe how these ended. Story 1: The Wedding Dress Disaster. Would you ever kick your own sister out of your wedding just because of a dress? This story comes straight from Reddit's Am I the A***hole? Community, and it literally tore a family apart. The setup. So, the original poster, let's call her Anna, was getting married. Her younger sister, Emily, was invited, of course. Everything was fine, until Anna saw what Emily planned to wear to the wedding. It wasn't a normal dress. It wasn't even just a little fancy. It was a white, floor-length gown with lace and sequins. Basically, it looked like a wedding dress. The confrontation. Anna pulled Emily aside and said, "Hey, you can't wear that. People are going to think you're the bride." Emily rolled her eyes and replied, "It's just a dress. Nobody will care. You're overreacting." But Anna was panicking. She had already paid thousands for her ceremony, venue, catering, decorations, and the last thing she wanted was people confusing her sister for the bride. She begged Emily to change. Emily refused. The wedding day, the big day, arrived. Anna walked down the aisle, heart racing, excited to marry the love of her life. But as soon as she reached the guests, she noticed everyone staring. Not at her, at Emily. Emily walked in confidently, wearing her sparkling white dress. Some guests whispered. Some even congratulated Emily by mistake, thinking she was the bride. Anna tried to stay calm, but during the reception, it got worse. Emily posed for pictures. People commented things like, "Wow, you look stunning. Almost like a bride yourself." That was the final straw. The explosion. Anna pulled her sister aside, in front of everyone, and said loudly, "You need to leave, right now." Emily froze. The guests gasped. Emily argued, "You can't kick me out of your own wedding. I'm your sister." Anna replied, "Exactly. And if you respected me as your sister, you wouldn't try to steal the spotlight on my wedding day." Security. Yes, the venue had security, actually escorted Emily out. The fallout. The wedding continued, but the drama didn't end there. Later that night, Anna's parents called her, furious. They said she humiliated Emily in front of everyone. Friends were divided. Some said Anna overreacted. Others said Emily knew exactly what she was doing. Anna posted the story on Reddit to ask, "Am I the A***hole for kicking my sister out of my wedding?" Reddit's verdict. The comments were savage. Top comment. Your sister didn't just make a fashion mistake. She tried to upstage you on the most important day of your life. You're not the A***hole. Another wrote, "Emily is jealous. This was sabotage, plain and simple." The thread went viral. Thousands of people agreed that Anna did the right thing. But still, the family drama was permanent. Reports say that Anna and Emily didn't speak for over a year after the wedding. Because trust me, if you thought this story was crazy, the next one is even wilder. Outro hook for story 1. So, what do you think? Was Anna right to kick her sister out? Or should she have just ignored it and let the day go on? What if your partner hated your pet so much that he tried to get rid of it? That's exactly what happened in this Reddit story. And the ending will make you rethink what love really means. The setup. The original poster, let's call her Sophie, had a cat named Milo. Milo wasn't just a pet. He was her best friend. She adopted him when she was lonely in college. And for years, Milo had been by her side through everything. Exams, breakups, even her first job. Fast forward to the present. Sophie is dating a guy named Jake. First, everything was perfect. Jake was charming, funny, smart, but there was one big problem. He hated Milo. The first signs. At first, Sophie thought Jake just wasn't a cat person. No big deal, right? But little things started happening. Jake would roll his eyes whenever Milo jumped on the couch. He complained about cat hair on his clothes. And he constantly said things like, "Why don't you just get rid of him? He's old anyway." Sophie always brushed it off. She thought, he'll get used to Milo eventually. She was wrong. The ultimatum. One night, Jake dropped a bombshell. He looked Sophie dead in the eyes and said, "It's me or the cat." Sophie laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But Jake wasn't smiling. He was dead serious. He explained that he couldn't live in a house that smelled like cat, that he didn't want to deal with scratches on the furniture, and that Sophie needed to make a choice. Their relationship or Milo? The breaking point. Sophie told Jake, "Milo is family. I'm not just going to throw him away." Jake stormed out. The next day he came back with an idea. "Fine. If you won't give him up, I'll take him to a shelter myself." That was the moment Sophie realized Jake wasn't joking. He wasn't just anti-pet. He was willing to remove Milo from her life without her consent. The internet weighs in. Sophie turned to Reddit's AITA community, asking, "Am I the A*** hole for choosing my cat over my boyfriend?" The comments came flooding in. One top comment said, "Any man who makes you choose between him and your pet doesn't actually love you. Ditch the boyfriend, keep the cat." Another wrote, "Milo was there before Jake. Milo will be there after Jake. Case closed." Some even joked, "Dump him. Cats are forever. Boyfriends are temporary." The post quickly went viral. Thousands of people sided with Sophie. The decision. After reading the overwhelming support, Sophie finally got the clarity she needed. She sat Jake down and said, "If you can't accept Milo, you can't be with me." Jake was shocked. He argued, begged, tried to guilt her. But Sophie stood firm. She broke up with him that night. And guess what? Milo curled up in her lap immediately after, as if he knew he had just won. The fallout. A few weeks later, Jake tried texting Sophie again. He said she was ridiculous for ending things over a cat. But Sophie ignored him. Reddit commenters called Milo the true MVP, and even made memes about cats being better than men. Today, Sophie says she has no regrets. She and Milo are happier than ever. And she's learned one big lesson. Anyone who truly loves you will also respect the things you love. Outro hook for story 2. So, what about you? Would you ever dump someone over a pet? Or do you think Sophie overreacted? Because if you thought choosing between a cat and a boyfriend was tough, wait until you hear the next story, where a single slice of cake ruined an entire birthday party. A birthday is supposed to be special, unless someone ruins it with just one slice of cake. This next Reddit story proves how even the smallest thing can spark the biggest family feud. The setup. The original poster, we'll call her Lily, had been planning her birthday party for weeks. She didn't ask for much. She wasn't the kind of person who expected expensive gifts or fancy dinners. What she really cared about was her cake. It wasn't just any cake. It was a triple-layer chocolate cake from her favorite local bakery. She only got it once a year on her birthday, and she looked forward to it all year long. The incident. The party started out great. Friends and family arrived. The decorations were perfect. Everyone was laughing and having fun. But when Lily went to get her cake from the kitchen, she froze. One slice was already gone. She stared at the empty spot, completely confused. Nobody was supposed to touch it until she cut it herself. She looked around, and that's when she saw her brother Mark, sitting at the table happily eating the first slice. The confrontation. Lily snapped, "Mark, that's my cake. I haven't even had a chance to cut it yet." Mark shrugged and said, "What's the big deal? It's just a piece of cake." But for Lily, it wasn't just cake. It was about respect, about tradition, about having her one special moment of the year. She yelled at him in front of everyone. Mark rolled his eyes, saying she was overreacting and acting like a spoiled child. The explosion. The room went silent. Everyone stared as Lily and Mark argued in the middle of her birthday party. Finally, Lily shouted, "You know what? If you can't respect me on my own birthday, then get out." Mark laughed. thinking she was joking. But Lily wasn't joking. She grabbed his plate, dumped it in the trash, and told him to leave. Mark stormed out, slamming the door behind him. The fallout. The rest of the party was awkward. Some guests whispered that Lily was being dramatic. Others said Mark was clearly in the wrong. Later that night, Lily's phone blew up with texts. Her parents were furious. They told her she embarrassed the family by kicking Mark out over cake. Even some friends said she ruined the party vibe by making a scene. Feeling guilty, Lily turned to Reddit's AITA community to ask, "Am I the A****hole for kicking my brother out of my birthday party for eating the cake first?" Reddit's verdict. The comments section exploded. One top comment said, "It's not about the cake. It's about boundaries. You told him not to touch it, and he disrespected you. You're not the A****hole." Another wrote, "This wasn't an accident. He did it on purpose to mess with you. Classic sibling sabotage." But some disagreed. "Honestly, it's just cake. You overreacted. You should have just laughed it off." The explosion. The room went silent. Everyone stared as Lily and Mark argued in the middle of her birthday party. Finally, Lily shouted, "You know what? If you can't respect me on my own birthday, then get out." Mark laughed, thinking she was joking. But Lily wasn't joking. She grabbed his plate, dumped it in the trash, and told him to leave. Mark stormed out, slamming the door behind him. The fallout. The rest of the party was awkward. Some guests whispered that Lily was being dramatic. Others said Mark was clearly in the wrong. Later that night, Lily's phone blew up with texts. Her parents were furious. They told her she embarrassed the family by kicking Mark out over cake. Even some friends said she ruined the party vibe by making a scene. Feeling guilty, Lily turned to Reddit's AITA community to ask, "Am I the A****hole for kicking my brother out of my birthday party for eating the cake first?" Reddit's verdict. The comments section exploded. One top comment said, "It's not about the cake. It's about boundaries. You told him not to touch it, and he disrespected you. You're not the A****hole." Another wrote, "This wasn't an accident. He did it on purpose to mess with you. Classic sibling sabotage." But some disagreed. "Honestly, it's just cake. You overreacted. You should have just laughed it off." The thread became one of the most divisive in the subreddit. Half the people sided with Lily, half with Mark. The twist. Here's the kicker. A week later, Mark posted his own version of the story on Reddit. In his post, he claimed that Lily threw a tantrum like a child, that it was literally just sugar and flour, and that she ruined her own birthday by being dramatic. Reddit immediately recognized the story and connected it to Lily's original post. The two threads were compared side by side. And the internet verdict? Mark was officially labeled the brother who started the cake war. The lesson. In the end, Lily decided she didn't regret it. She said, "It's not about the cake. It's about being respected. If he can't respect me on my birthday, what else will he disrespect?" Outro hook for story 3. So here's the question. Was Lily completely justified? Or did she blow things out of proportion? Because if you thought fighting over cake was dramatic, wait until you hear the next story, where parents secretly stole their own child's college fund. Story 4, the college fund secret. Would you forgive your parents if you found out they secretly stole your college fund? This story shook Reddit to the core, because it wasn't just about money. It was about trust, betrayal, and family loyalty. The setup. The original poster, let's call him Daniel, had always been told by his parents that they were saving money for his college education. For years, whenever Daniel asked about it, his parents reassured him, "Don't worry, honey. We've got it all handled. You'll go to a good school." He believed them. He studied hard, got good grades, and was excited to apply to his dream university. The discovery. When it came time to pay tuition, Daniel sat down with his parents to discuss finances. That's when he heard the words that made his stomach drop. "There's no money." Daniel was shocked. "What do you mean there's no money? You told me for years you were saving." His parents exchanged guilty looks. Finally, his mom admitted the truth. They had used the entire college fund to pay for his sister's wedding. The betrayal. Daniel couldn't believe it. All those years of being told, "We're saving for your future." Gone. He asked why. His mom said, "Your sister's wedding was a once-in-a-lifetime event. College, you can always take out loans." Daniel was furious. He reminded them that they had promised him, that they had looked him in the eye and said the money was for his education. But his parents just brushed it off, saying, "You're smart, you'll figure it out. Besides, your sister deserves to be happy." The fallout. Daniel told Reddit that he felt betrayed and heartbroken. Not just because of the money, but because of the lie. He had worked so hard in school, motivated by the belief that his future was secure. Now it felt like everything had been ripped away overnight. To make things worse, when he confronted his sister about it, she didn't apologize. Instead, she said, "Be happy for me. I had the wedding of my dreams. You'll survive college loans." The breaking point. Daniel stopped talking to his parents for weeks. He moved in with a friend, refusing to even answer their calls. That's when things escalated even further. His parents showed up at his job, begging him to forgive them. They argued that they didn't have a choice, and that family sacrifices are normal. But to Daniel, this wasn't sacrifice. It was theft. Reddit's verdict. When Daniel posted his story to AITA, the internet exploded. Top comment: "They didn't sacrifice. They stole." A sacrifice is when you give up something of yours. They gave up something that was his. Another said, "This isn't about money. This is about trust. They lied to you for years. That's unforgivable." Many Redditors even advised Daniel to go no contact with his family. Some suggested legal action, depending on whether the money had been in a trust account. The thread quickly went viral, with thousands of upvotes and awards. The aftermath. According to an update from Daniel, he decided not to forgive his parents, at least not anytime soon. He applied for scholarships, took out student loans, and found part-time work. He said it was stressful, but he felt stronger knowing he was building his own future without depending on people who had betrayed him. As for his sister, their relationship was basically destroyed. He skipped her anniversary party and hasn't spoken to her since. The lesson. Daniel's story isn't just about money. It's about how family betrayal cuts deeper than anything else. Because in the end, money can be replaced. But trust? Once it's broken, it's almost impossible to repair. Outro hook for story 4. So tell me, if you were Daniel, would you ever forgive your parents? Or is this the kind of betrayal you'd never get over? And believe it or not, the next story might be even worse. Because while Daniel lost money, the person in our final story lost something even bigger. Her trust in her own sister. Intro hook. Imagine babysitting for your sister every single weekend, for free. Now imagine finding out she was secretly getting paid for it. This story left Reddit furious, because the betrayal didn't just involve money. It was about trust, manipulation, and being taken advantage of by family. The setup. The original poster, let's call her Rachel, was a 19-year-old college student. She loved her sister Claire, who was married with 2 kids. Every weekend, Claire would ask Rachel to babysit. Rachel always said yes. She never asked for money, never complained. She thought she was just helping out her family. Sometimes she'd cancel her own plans. Other times she'd study late at night after babysitting. But she didn't mind, because she believed she was making a sacrifice for her sister's sake. The discovery. One afternoon, Rachel overheard a conversation that changed everything. Claire was on the phone with her husband. She didn't know Rachel was in the next room. Claire said, "Yeah, don't worry. Rachel will babysit again this weekend. You can send me the money later." Rachel froze. Money? She listened closer, and her stomach dropped. Claire's husband was paying her every single time Rachel babysat. But Rachel never saw a dime. The betrayal. Rachel confronted Claire that night. "Are you serious? You've been taking money from your husband for my babysitting, and keeping it for yourself." Claire looked guilty for a moment, then defensive. Well, yeah, but I figured you didn't need it. You live at home, you don't have many expenses. Why would you care? Rachel was speechless. She had been giving up her time for free, while Claire secretly pocketed cash behind her back. The breaking point, Rachel demanded, "If he's paying, that money should go to me. I'm the one doing the work." But Claire refused. She said the money was for the household, and that Rachel was selfish for even asking. That was the moment Rachel realized her sister had been exploiting her. Not once, not twice, but for months. She packed up her things and told Claire she would never babysit for her again. The fallout. When Claire's husband found out, he was furious, but not at Rachel. He was angry at Claire. He had assumed all along that Rachel was being paid fairly. He had no idea his wife was keeping the money. He confronted her, and their fight turned explosive. Rachel said she could hear shouting from the driveway as she left. Later, Rachel's parents called, saying she should forgive Claire, because family helps family. But Rachel didn't buy it. Helping family was one thing. Being lied to and stolen from was another. Reddit's verdict. When Rachel posted the story on Reddit, the comments section exploded. Top comment: "Your sister didn't just take advantage of you. She straight up scammed you. That's not family, that's manipulation." Another wrote, "She stole your labor and your money. You have every right to cut her off." And one more, "Imagine the audacity. Not only lying to you, but lying to her husband too. Wild." The thread went viral, with thousands of upvotes and people saying Rachel should never trust Claire again. The aftermath. According to Rachel's update, Claire tried to apologize. She said she didn't mean any harm, and that she just needed the extra money. But Rachel didn't forgive her. She said trust had been broken, and she refused to babysit again, even if she was offered payment. Claire ended up having to hire an actual babysitter and pay much more than what she stole from Rachel. The lesson. Rachel's story showed that betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the people you trust the most. And when that happens, forgiveness doesn't come easy. Outro hook for story 5 and video ending. So tell me, if you were Rachel, would you forgive your sister? Or would you cut her off completely? Because at the end of the day, these stories remind us of one thing. Sometimes, strangers on the internet treat us with more honesty than the people closest to us.